Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. I am going to review the Keryx from Miguron for you today, and I think that this might be the best budget knife of the year, and I'm going to go through why. It's amazing what they can do for $50, and I'm going to show you a lot of the little details, which I think make this one of the best knives I have reviewed in this price category so far, if not ever. Um, Got a little bit of something on there on that edge. I just did a disassembly and maintenance video, and you can check that out. There was one thing on this that went wrong in that video, and I will tell you about that in full details. First off, overall knife. I mean, it's just a good utility blade and it feels really good in the hand. The ergos are great. You can choke up right here. Nice big finger choil here. And the overall balance of this is a little handle heavy, but it's okay. It's nothing too crazy. And the action on this is great. It's a flipper, right? Very easy to do that. And you can push button. And the jimping on the flipper tab is absolutely great. And look here, this is something that I've noticed Migron does. Do you see like this little, what I should call machining out here of inside the button right here? That's so that when you push button, your finger goes in there and it just sits inside there and it's not resting on a sharp edge. And I think that that's actually kind of brilliant. It's one of those small details that I think that they do really well with their budget brands. This is sandwich construction, as you can see. You got micarta, then the liners, and then the micarta at the other side. And they've done a full backspacer here, which is a great little touch for a budget knife. I really appreciate that with this inset jimping here. And then on the other side here, this micarta feels really nice. It's really nicely done. I believe that the black one is $59. There's a green one, micarta, which is 50, and then they have a PVD coated black one, which is 50. So I don't understand the pricing on that, but the links are down below if you're going to check this out. Really like how they've done this clip here. Their clips are usually very good. They're usually machined out. Let's see if I have another example here. Here's a Centurion, and you'll see that usually they have them just be flat, right? This isn't flat or straight. This has got this nice little bend to it, which I don't know. I just really like that, and it kind of mimics this hole here for or this scoop out here that they have. It's just a nice little detail, and that frankly cost them more money to make, and they were still doing it that way, which is great. Finish on the blade is great. It got like a belt tumble finish, bi-directional. Here you've got this belt sanding going on in that direction, and then you've got like this little swedge up here. And overall, they took the time for the to make the geometry of this blade more than just practical, but also interesting and fun to look at. Speaking of which, this is 14C28N, which is the best steel, in my opinion, for under $50. It was originally a razor steel, and now it comes in a lot of different budget knives. And if you see that it's made out of 14C28N, you should know it's good to go. It's a stainless steel, takes a really nice edge. I just sharpened this actually with a KME, so now it's razor sharp. I dogged this in a warehouse. I got it really dull, and then I just brought it up to speed. And once you take the machine edge off of a knife and you put your own edge on a knife, it tends to stay sharper a lot longer, which in this case, I'm really excited to see how much longer it lasts. Speaking of the blade shape and how long it lasts, this is a very good utility knife for utility cuts. It's going to stay in the material for a long time. Might not poke holes as well, but it's still got this reverse tanto here, which will poke enough. Overall lines of this knife, the design is really nice. I love this line here, and I love how you've got the reverse tanto, and it's kind of mirrored back here with this. And just the way the aesthetics of the whole knife, I think, are just done really nicely and well. Jimping on top of the blade for when you're choking up on the top, which is good. Besides the flipper tab, you've also got this this hole here, and the hole is really good for Spidey flick. Like it just flies out, and I really appreciate that. For thumb flicking, because of the way it still works fine, but it's not quite as comfortable. But it's still fine. And then the liner lock here is got very good access to it because the scallop on the show scale side is a little bit deeper. And the machining on the edge of this is such that it's very easy to disengage. And once you get it on there, it just drops shut. Of course, I've done some maintenance on this, so, it's running really smoothly right now. For the length and size of this knife, we're talking about 3 inches of cutting blade, but the blade itself is a little bit longer, as you can see. And the whole knife is about 7 3/4, maybe 7 3/4. To give you a comparison, here's the Hogue Deca 2, which might be a really good comparison to it because a lot of people probably have this. And this is just slightly bigger than that, making this not quite a large knife, but definitely not small either. I like it. I like the shape, and I like the way that it feels. And then here it is compared to a Spyderco 2. You can see the Spyderco overall is just a little bit bigger. And this is more of like a full-size knife, and this is just under a full-size knife, but, you know, almost larger than a medium-sized knife, I guess I would say. Overall, I think that this is a really good example, like, of the machining that they can do. It's very well contoured and rounded on all its edges. The way that they've paid attention to little details, they've given you this extra nice little curve in the clip, and this clip works really well. Everything is really cool. The only problem I had with this was in the disassembly. Some guy had a really bad day at the factory and slathered on some Loctite on the pivot, and I ended up having to use my heat gun to heat this up to get it so I wouldn't strip the screw. And if you go to my disassembly video, you'll see me discovering that in real time and then fixing it and being able to get it back together again. I mean, no big deal. I like this knife so much that I actually bought another one so that I could give it away for my Patreon giveaway coming up very soon at the end of the month. If you would like to win that knife, let me tell you how. All you got to do is become a Patreon member for $3 a month, or click the support button for YouTube down below, and then you too will be entered to win a knife every month for about $2 or $3, depending on which level you choose. And there's not that many Patreon or supporters, so you have a really good chance of winning a knife. Most of my supporters who've stuck with me the last several months have won 2 knives. So I would encourage you to do that if you like this content. And if not, that is perfectly fine too. So like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.